This is a call for justice, because every time there's a protest, innocent Kenyans are killed because these killer cops are not being arrested. They are not being held to account.
Sisi kama wazazi tuliomba ruhusa hata tukuje hapa, tukapeleka hata barua kwa mkubwa wa mapolisi, tukuje leo at least tuomboleze, tuweke maua ya watoto wetu, lakini tumefika tukapigwa na butwa kupata polisi wametuzuia, hatuwezi ingia.
A few criminal elements attempted to commit diverse crimes in guise of staging peaceful demonstrations. Nairobi County accounted for the highest number of arrests, which is 161.
The president is afraid because young people are tired of him, they're tired of his leadership, and that he's concerned that if he came to the city today, we'll march to State House to remove him, because the job he began 2 years ago has not ended.
After 8 years, manze, Okoth bado amepatikana guilty ya kunyuria Sharon bana jo. After 8 years, familia imepata justice. Wacha Mori ende kamiti ama kodi yaga. Lakini niko sure anaenda court of appeal. Guilty. Alifanya ule kwela nini mambo? Unasema nini wewe? Ni kama ukwela aliminyima kinywero. Ama venye huyo kwela alitry kumblackmail akamwonyesha nini wewe? 6 feet under. Lakini sasa mazi kesi juu imedrag miaka 8. Okoth bado guilty. Usitake jua. I think njo kesi ya kwanza nishaiona ya mtu high profile hivi amepatikana guilty. Ani mwecheche.
Ghana is now being sued over its role in the Trump administration's third country deportation program. So the case was filed at the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice, the regional court for West Africa. An international coalition of human rights lawyers and advocates say Ghana accepted deportees from the United States who were not Ghanaian citizens, held them, and then helped send them back to the countries they had fled. The case covers 27 people out of at least 60 deported from the US to Ghana since September 2025. Here's a key issue with all of this. Many of these deportees had already received protection from US immigration judges. That means judges had ruled they should not be sent back to their home countries because they could face persecution or torture. But according to the lawsuit, Ghana still sent most of the 27 people back within hours or days of their arrival. Some deportees say they were shackled during the flight from the United States. Once in Ghana, they say they were held under armed guard in military camps, hotels, and airports, holding cells, sometimes in poor condition. Medical evaluations cited in the lawsuit found signs of post-traumatic stress and severe depression in several of the deportees. The lawsuit accuses Ghana of violating non-refoulement, that is the legal principle that bars governments from sending people to places where they could face persecution or torture. The coalition wants the court to stop more transfers, force Ghana to release the terms of its agreement with the United States, award damages, and block Ghana from signing similar deals in the future. Ghana's government did not immediately respond to requests from the press for comment, but Ghana is one of at least 9 African countries that have made third country deportation deals with the United States. Under these agreements, the Trump administration has sent people to countries that are not their own. Immigration lawyers say the policy is being used as a loophole to indirectly send asylum seekers back to places US judges had previously said were unsafe. And this is not the only case. Last month, rights lawyers filed a similar case against Equatorial Guinea, accusing that government of forcing US deportees back to their home countries too. So this lawsuit is not just about Ghana, it's about whether the United States can outsource deportation through other countries and whether those countries can be held responsible when protected people are sent back into danger.
You see now Now we are working. These are the things that we want to see. People working together with the police. We need to actually fix this country. We need to fix this country.
South Africa is introducing a new immigration scheme that encourages companies to hire mostly South African citizens and permanent residents. But what exactly does it mean? The Department of Home Affairs has officially launched Phase 2 of the Trusted Employer Scheme, TES, as part of its plan to modernize South Africa's immigration system, reduce red tape, and support economic growth. The scheme was published in the Government Gazette on July 20th, 2026, with applications opening immediately for qualifying employers. Under the new rules, companies applying to join the scheme must show that they employ predominantly South African citizens or permanent residents. Businesses will also need to demonstrate that they are compliant with labor and immigration laws before they can qualify for faster processing of work visas for foreign professionals. The government says the Trusted Employer Scheme is not a ban on hiring foreign workers. Instead, it is designed to make it easier for trusted companies to recruit critical skills from abroad when suitably qualified South Africans cannot fill those positions, while ensuring local workers remain the priority. Home Affairs Minister Dr. Leon Schreiber said the program is part of South Africa's broader immigration reforms aimed at attracting investment, creating jobs, strengthening border security, and moving immigration services onto a fully digital system. Expressions of interest for Phase 2 will remain open until September 4, 2026. The announcement comes as South Africa continues to debate immigration, unemployment, and skills shortages, with the government insisting that the new system is intended to protect local employment while still allowing businesses to recruit specialized talent where necessary.
Around 300 Ghanaians have been evacuated from South Africa after a wave of anti-migrant protests. Demonstrators have been targeting legal and undocumented migrants, blaming them for unemployment, crime, and pressure on public services.
If your parliament fails you, protest against parliament. Why are you protesting against an individual?
Some protesters have warned illegal migrants to leave by the end of June, and many say they no longer feel safe. More than 800 Ghanaians have now signed up for repatriation flights, while South African authorities say they'll crack down on xenophobic violence.
Families of victims killed in Kenya's anti-government protests 2 years ago have taken to the streets demanding justice.
Every time there's a protest, innocent Kenyans are killed because these killer cops are not being arrested. They are not being held to account.
Dozens gathered outside Parliament in Nairobi, carrying flowers and photos of loved ones killed during the 2024 unrest. Police pushed back protesters, made arrests, and sealed off the area with razor wire barricades. Despite the restrictions, protesters laid flowers in memory of those killed. The gathering marked the second anniversary of the protests against the finance bill that turned deadly.
Two Ghanaian nationals are asking the International Criminal Court to examine years of attacks against African migrants in South Africa, arguing the violence could amount to crimes against humanity. The petition was filed by Palgrave Boache Dankwa, a former Ghanaian government spokesperson, and security analyst Emmanuel Coton. I apologize if I pronounce their names incorrectly, but they submitted it to the ICC prosecutor on July 15th. The filing accuses migrants in South Africa of being subjected to widespread and systemic violence between 2015 and 2026. It lists allegations of killings, physical assaults, looting, and people being forced from their homes. The petition also accuses South African authorities of failing to adequately prevent the attacks or prosecute those responsible. This was not filed by Ghana's government. Important to note, the two men say it is a private effort aimed at securing accountability for migrants who have faced reoccurring attacks. South Africa has experienced waves of xenophobic violence for nearly 2 decades. Foreign nationals, particularly migrants from other African countries, have been blamed for unemployment, crime, and pressure on public services. Those claims have repeatedly fueled protests and attacks against migrants, even though South Africa's unemployment and public service problems are much larger economic and government failures that cannot simply be pinned on foreigners. Recent violence became serious enough that Ghana, Nigeria, and Malawi repatriated some of their citizens and summoned South African diplomats. But this is not an ICC investigation just yet. The court confirmed it received the filing, which is known as a communication. Under the Rome Statute, individuals and organizations can send information about alleged crimes directly to the ICC prosecutor. The prosecutor will now decide whether there is a reasonable basis to take any further action. The ICC receives many of these submissions, and only a very small number ever move forward. So South Africa has not been charged, and no government official has been named as a defendant. But the South African government had not publicly responded to the petition when the story was published. For now, the filing puts a new international spotlight on a long-running crisis and asks whether years of violence against African migrants were isolated outbreaks or part of a broader pattern that authorities repeatedly failed to stop.
It's as if the police are trying to numb down the demonstration. They're trying to make it look like there won't be any demonstration because the police ratio to people who are coming to demonstrate, the police are actually even more than the people who are coming to demonstrate.
This is a call for justice because every time there's a protest, innocent Kenyans are killed because these killer cops are not being arrested. They are not being held to account.
You can comment on the episodes or vent about other problems created by illegal immigration. Send us a video to the number on screen. Please speak clearly, straight to the point, and don't use offensive language.
They will kill us. They will kill us, serious.
This man has given undocumented foreigners until the 30th of June to leave the country. His name is Pakel Mtakati. Carrying a traditional fighting stick, he uses Zulu symbolism to evoke national pride.
These are South African citizens who are protesting against what they call illegal immigrants or undocumented foreigners. They say these foreigners are causing unemployment, contributing to criminality by selling drugs. They are also straining public services such as healthcare and schools.
Pakela Umtakati's organization is one of many pushing the anti-immigration message. For many Africans living in South Africa, the threat from anti-immigrant groups is real. Several have been killed, many others attacked or intimidated. Fanny has lived in South Africa for 6 years. Terrified of the growing threat, she sold all her belongings to pay for the bus fare for her and her daughter to get here.
My neighbors, they're telling us, you must go, you must go, don't stay here. If you stay here until 30, you will see. Don't regret it.
Rajab came to South Africa 15 years ago. All 3 of his children were born here, and he works in this country legally.
They said, hey, my nose is smelling blood. I want to kill you exactly. This is my life. Life is only one. So I leave South Africa. I'm going back to Malawi because I'm fit.
For many other Africans, especially those from Somalia, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, going home is not an option. Mabrat is from Ethiopia. He and his older brother have run this shop for 11 years.
The government said go, people said go.
What do you think? Do you think he should go or he should stay?
No, I think he should stay. We need him. To be honest, it's better if he's not here. It's going to be trouble. Nobody's going to be asking whether or not do you have papers. They're just going to come in and loot and do whatever, and he might get hurt. So it's better if he does leave before the 30th and maybe possibly come back after a week.
And can you not protect him then?
We can't protect him because there's going to be people who want to loot and they're going to be here with guns. What am I supposed to do? Stand in front of a gun? I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that.
Anti-immigrant protesters say their campaign will intensify after the deadline. It's unclear what that means, but there is fear of violence. This is more than a story about immigration. It's a story about African solidarity and whether that ideal can survive.
Pale Ruiru ni kama kuna vampire bana. Now, a yet to be identified individual who seems to really like operating at night. Ameuma watu watatu already. Now, the most mysterious part inasemekana kwamba akiuma watu damu haionekani, which begs the question, is it a human being, a normal human being, ama ni vampire? Now inasemekana the incidences zimekuwa recorded pale OJ, around prisons na Watala. So sana sana watoto, if you have kids, ambia watoto wakue pretty careful.
At least 1.48 million Kenyans are currently living with HIV. This is according to the latest data released by the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council. Women and girls are bearing a disproportionate burden for the epidemic as compared to men. Despite this, Kenya has made notable progress in the fight against HIV, recording declines in mother-to-child transmission and maintaining gains in treatment coverage. However, new infections, particularly among adolescents and young people, continue to pose a major challenge.
Despite decades of progress in HIV prevention and treatment, Kenya continues to face a significant HIV burden, with an estimated 1.48 million people currently living with the virus. According to the National Syndemic Disease Control Council, the national prevalence now stands at 3.22%. The epidemic continues to affect women more than men, with a higher prevalence among females at 4.3% as compared to males at 2.1%. Children remain among the most vulnerable groups, with 69,330 children aged between 0 and 14 years currently living with HIV. In 2026, Kenya recorded 13,936 new HIV infections. Adolescents and young people continue to account for a significant share of new infections at 41%. Adult new infections stood at 10,539, while the new infections among adolescents and young people aged between 15 to 24 years were 4,321.
Out of all the new HIV infections, 62% occurred among young people and young adults aged between 15 and 39.
Health experts are particularly concerned about the high rate of infections among young people, underscoring the need for targeted awareness campaigns, testing services, and access to prevention tools. Meanwhile, Kenya has recorded progress in efforts to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV. The rate of mother-to-child transmission now stands at 8.04%, a drop from the recorded 9.3% in 2024.
Kenya still records approximately 14,000 new HIV infections annually, including more than 3,000 among children. At the same time, people living with HIV are living longer and increasingly require more integrated services that address non-communicable diseases, mental health condition, reproductive health needs, and other chronic illness. Ladies and gentlemen, the changing health landscape, coupled with the evolving global financing realities, require us to rethink how we organize, finance, deliver health services.
Health officials note that treatment interruptions among mothers continue to contribute to new infections among children. According to the National Syndemic Disease Control Council, 38% of HIV infections among children were linked to mothers dropping off the antiretroviral treatment during breastfeeding. The impact of the epidemic remains devastating, with more than 19,000 AIDS-related deaths recorded in 2026. The burden of HIV is also unevenly distributed across the country, with 10 counties accounting for the majority of cases. The high-burden counties include Nairobi, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya, Migori, Busia, Kakamega, Mombasa, Kiambu, and Nakuru. As Kenya works towards ending HIV as a public health threat, experts say greater focus must now be placed on adolescents, young women and mothers, while ensuring uninterrupted access to treatment and prevention services across the country. Helen Aura, NTV.